everybody has one, but today I want to talk about my Glock and the reasons I set up the way I did. In particular, I kind of want to talk about the why behind each part and the reasons I decided to upgrade certain items on here. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. I guess we'll kind of go ahead and start from the top to the bottom. As far as the top being the optic, I decided to go with the Trijicon SRO. For me, I feel like this is kind of the gold standard. I know it's really expensive, but it's not just because it's expensive that I think it's good. The reasons I got this red dot in particular for my Glock was the field of view. I've also shot the RMR, I've shot 507Cs, I've shot the Delta Pro, I've shot quite a bit of red dots, and to be honest, out of all the red dots that I've shot, by far, the Trijicon SRO has the best field of view. Again, that's a huge reason why I decided to go with it. Not to mention the top port for the battery. So when you change the battery on this, you don't have to remove it to change that battery, which will obviously mess with your zero sometimes. That's another huge perk. And the last reason I decided to go with this is the glass clarity. It's very clear. The reticle is nice and crisp. And again, it's kind of a buy once, cry once. I know some people say, oh, it's not as durable if you hit it on the top, but I've racked this thing off of certain items before, just racking the slide off the red dot alone, just like you would at RMR, and it's held up quite well. The reasons I decided to go with the red dot was if you already have a rifle with the red dot, I feel like it's nice to have a red dot across all my weapons, as far as all my platforms, whether it's an AR-15 rifle or a pistol. It's just nice to be used to having that red dot and bringing the dot to your eye. Not to mention, obviously, you can have more of a threat focus and a target focus as opposed to trying to find your two rear sights and your front sight, obviously. That's a huge reason I decided to go with the red dot. Just wanted to keep it the same with the red dot on my rifle and pistol. Also, another thing is transitioning targets. For me, I feel like when you're going to transition, it's just easier, like I said, to find that one dot as opposed to having to line up the front sight and the rear sight. Enough with that. The next sighting system I'm gonna have is my Trijicon night sights. I didn't decide to go with suppressor heights for my red dot. I actually decided to go with the ones that are out of the way because I didn't want that clouded window, or crowded window I should say. That's the whole reason I got the SRO in the first place. I wanted a bigger field of view, so I just didn't want the iron sights to be in the way at all. If I ever needed to, for some reason, to get this red dot off, I could just take the two screws off, obviously, and take it off. It'll be good to go. But say this thing were to go down, I feel like if you train enough, you can obviously point and shoot pretty well. As far as to get yourself out of a certain situation, or if you have to get to a certain rifle or a weapon system, if you will. Just wanted to have those out of the view of my red dot. But they are nice though. If you ever have to grab your gun in the dark, those night sights obviously are gonna be glowing. You're not gonna be seeing your red dot if it's like on a shelf or something like that. You'll definitely be able to see it a lot easier with the night sights. So that is a little perk, even though they're out of the way of the red dot. As far as the slide itself, this is gonna be a superior precision slide. I really like this slide a lot. The coating and the Cerakote job on this is really solid. I rack this thing, like I said, off of certain objects sometimes, and I'm not gentle with it at all. I'm pretty rough with this thing. And the only thing that's starting to do is a little bit of scratching on the slide right here. Also in the front from wear and tear from reholstering and drawing out of my holster, but that's normal for any slide. The serrations on this, if you can see the serrations on the back of the slide for racking it or press checking, anything like that, it's just really nice with the rear serrations that they have. And I definitely like the ports. Makes it a little bit lighter as well overall, and also it looks really cool, which is obviously half the battle. Definitely love the superior precision slide. Solid investment if you do want to get an aftermarket slide. Not to mention it comes already cut for RMR footprint, so again, I was able to put my SRO on there with no problems. After that, I'm just running my stock internals, pretty much stock barrel, stock springs. The next thing that I did decide to upgrade, which I feel like are really important, are these takedown pins or takedown levers, slide locking levers, whatever you want to call them. But they're going to be from Ghost Inc. I highly recommend them. They make it a lot easier when you have to take down your gun really quick. Not that the standard or stock ones are hard, but these with the certain jagged tooth that they have on them just make it a lot easier to take down. Highly recommend those if you want to upgrade something on your Glock. After that is going to be my slide release. This is going to be an extended slide release from Ghost Inc. as well. It's going to be their forward bullet option. This is by far one of the best upgrades that I've made on this gun. It's easier to lock it and release it without having to break your grip. So I highly recommend one of these. I'll post a link below in the description. I'm not sponsored by any of these products, just so you know. I'm not making any money. Just want to recommend off user experience, and this is definitely a huge investment at only $20, I believe, or so, and it's highly worth it. Because the stock ones or the original ones, the OEM ones, they're going to be pretty flush. So sometimes when you're shooting with those, if you have a grip, it'll keep the slide locked back when you're having recoil, or unfortunately it won't lock back with your grip sometimes because they're really flush, and it'll just send it forward and you're not even knowing you're empty. In order to avoid that, again, I highly recommend getting one of these slide release that are extended from Ghost Inc. Another aftermarket part that I have is this extended release from Vickers Tactical or Tango Down. It's the same company. Really nice, not too big, and it's polymer, so it's not going to eat up your mags like the metal ones do sometimes. It's just going to have a nice little serration on there to where you can just not have to break your grip at all. It's extended enough to where you can just press that magazine out and not have to break your grip, which is really nice. Another thing that I did to this Glock, this is going to be a Gen 3. If you can see here, there's no more finger grooves. I took a Dremel and actually Dremeled those down. Underneath the trigger guard as well, went ahead and Dremeled that as well. There's all kinds of videos on YouTube if you want to do it yourself. It's pretty easy, just takes a little bit of time though. That way I can get a higher grip underneath the trigger guard, and also the finger grips are out of the way. Which brings me to the Magwell. If you can see here, the Magwell kind of helps push my hand up as well. So not only does it help with more consistent reloads, it also is going to help keep my hand up nice and tight for a high and tight grip. This is going to be from Cross Armory. This is their Magwell for the Gen 1 through 3 Glocks. Highly recommend that if you're interested. And they're also a local like-minded company here in San Diego, which is always cool to support local companies. Which also brings me to these extended base plates from Cross Armory. These are going to be nice as well. So when you're reloading, as you can see there, you don't have to push it all the way, it just stops right there. Not to mention, when you drop them out, if you press the button because they're weighted, they just fall out. Unfortunately, these are going to be the +0 because I am here in California. But if you're out of California, if you're actually in a free state, they have +5 extensions. But if you are here in California, they do work as well, like I said, to help drop that magazine out nice and easy. And also when you're inserting them, it's just a lot more consistent. So the Magwell and the base plate aren't going to make you quicker right away, but they are going to make it more consistent, which in my opinion leads to being quicker over time. Highly recommend those. Again, those are from Cross Armory. If you're interested, make sure to check those out. Again, all my internals are pretty much stock trigger, stock everything. I did get a tungsten guide rod, just so you know. When I first got it, I heard that's going to help a little bit with recoil, but I've shot stock ones that are fine. It is pretty nice though. I do like that. It wasn't too expensive. And the last item, but not least, is going to be my TLR 7A. I like this light a lot because as you can see here, it's going to be flush as opposed to the Surefire X300s, which are a little bit longer, or the StreamLight TLR ones, which both are really solid. If I were to upgrade though to get another light, I definitely would be getting one of those turbos just because of the throw that they have on those are really nice. The throw on this one isn't super strong, but for what I'm using it for, which is just PID, which is going to be positive identification, for up close, anything 50 yards and in, you'll be good to go. Definitely like it. And not to mention the controls on the StreamLight TLR 7A are far superior in my opinion than the Surefires, but again, the throw is not as strong as like a Mod Light or the Surefire Turbo, just so you guys know. Other than that, this thing has ran well. It's really reliable. Obviously, Glocks are always reliable. But yeah, just kind of like I said, wanted to talk about all the upgrades that I decided to go with, and more so the reasons why behind each and every one of them. If you're looking to support me, I recently started a shop with a couple items on there. I have a hoodie, I got a t-shirt, I also have a hat and a sticker. So yeah, if you're looking to get any of those items, I'm gonna post a link below in the description. There's also a link on my YouTube as well as my Instagram. So yeah, if any of you guys get any of those items, I really appreciate it. All the support helps. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or suggestions, make sure to shoot me a comment down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and thank you for watching.